like it's a part of psychology what we deal with the sexual aspect of the human. People realize that, you see, what happens in the bedroom stays in the bedroom.
Absolutely.
It's nobody's business what you do. We've been taught subconsciously not to express some things, and women don't understand that you need to lead a man to what you want.
Yeah. Hey, Gwen! It's your girl, Nikki O, with Wives That Thrive, here again this week with an amazing podcast to talk about, the things that we go through, right? And I am excited about my guest today. When you've had a friend for over, 40 years? Yeah. And you say, please come, let's talk. And they say, yes, you've done something right? And the goal is to just give you something to think about in no matter what stage of your marriage you're in, no matter what is going on in your marriage. This is hopefully will help you get some clarity on what it is you want to do. But today I'm excited. So my honorable guest today is Lola Bade-Aluko, also known as Lola. And she's proudly Nigerian. Woo woo! She's a clinical psychologist and sexologist, y'all. Currently based in South Africa. Lola is a wearer of many hats and has taken on a number of great opportunities in her lifetime. She is a talk practitioner, hosting various radio talk programs in Nigeria, England, and Swaziland, and also runs a psychological unit called Shoulders, and a reach out unit called Real Issues with Lola, where she volunteers, hosts talks, and does counseling. She does all this also while working as the ED of a technical firm. On a more personal level, she is a proud mom to 2 young adults and a wifey. Lola is very passionate about mindset transformation and believes in the use of media as well as various other forms of outreach techniques in behavioral modification. She'll tell you where she can be reached when she gets on, but let me welcome my amazing guest, Lola! Hi. Oh, this is so amazing. Thank you for joining me today. Your bio is amazing. You've been up to so much. So let's just get started. How did you even get into all of this stuff? A sexologist. Talk to me. What does that mean? What do you talk about when you're a sexologist? I want to know.
Okay. It's always actually very let me be quite honest with you, and I'm going to be frank about it. Initially, I used to be very, I use the word shy to tell people, oh, I'm a sexologist, and they'll ask you awkward questions like, okay, so what do you guys do? So basically, what do sexologists do? We it's a part of psychology what we deal with the sexual aspect of the human nature. That means we try to, I tell people, I try to break down sex into a very simple step as possible, because a lot of times it's been overrated. It's just been overrated, and we've come in with a lot of wrong concepts, wrong ideas, about misconceptions about what sex is all about. Mm-hmm. And most of the time we go into marriage, relationships, things generally about sex with what has been passed down to us. So there's just, like I said to people, there's this glass wall that nobody ever sees. It's invisible, but it's there. It just kind of holds us back.
Right.
It comes in so many forms without us knowing. So sometimes, as a sexologist, you deal with issues that nobody wants to talk about. You understand? So it's easier when you can break it down and you're like, oh, so it wasn't just me.
Right, so So I love that you said that. Walk me through. So I'm a client. I come to you and say, "Hey, what are some of the things that people come talk about sex? Is it run some things through me by me because I'm sure."
You don't even want to go that route because there, there's just, I mean, it's honestly, okay. I try to co-practice with my husband. Funny enough, people don't always understand because um being very honest, it's made it very easy for me and for couples, especially the men, to be able to find it very easy. Um at least I tell to people we're Africans,
Mhm.
and generally, without us knowing, culture plays a major role in a lot of things that we do
Yeah.
without us even knowing that it's there. It's not something that we know we're doing, but we do it a lot. You understand?
Yeah.
Some of us we've been brought up with some. I mean, I use my own self a lot of times as an example. I remember when I was about, I think I started my period at about 11, and I remember my mom trying to, that was what they knew, and that's what they gave us. She said to me, that when you start your period, when you even just look at a man, you're going to get pregnant. And Nikki, I'm telling you, I mean, I was just poor little me. I was just in Form 1 in MG, and I lived in Yaba College of Tech. And normally, on a normal day, we'll walk through, how it was in school, walk through local home, and that walk is normally a 25 minutes work. You just, I think it took me like 2 hours to get home. I was pregnant like 70 times before getting home.
All the men, all the boys looking at you.
I said I was pregnant like 70 times before I got home. But luckily I had an older sister who had gone through that with my mom. You understand? And I didn't even know she had gone through that. I mean, when I was in Form 1, she was in Form 5. So, I came home. I mean, I tell people that it was the worst day of my life. I came home distraught. I came home crying, and I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. And then she got back from school. She was doing a school set, and she was like, what's wrong with you? Blah. And I told her, and she was like, nonsense. There's nothing wrong with now. Now, fast forward, and that's what I said to people. Subconsciously, we don't know we do things without us doing it. Subconsciously, we as parents. When I became a parent of a teenage daughter, and I remember the first time my daughter was going for a party, and she said to me, "Oh no, mom, I'm going to use a tampon. Local me." I'm like, tampon? It would you. You know, no, Nika, I mean, we're on air. I have to be telling you the truth. The way my daughter's son that looked at me,
Like, are
and she
you
goes,
like you have two
she goes,
heads?
Mom, are you for real? Did you go to school? Did you do
Oh,
biology? I'm like, yes. And I was saying, the way our parents, I was saying with all authority, you'd have thought I was the medical doctor that was going to teach me. And she's like, Mom, it doesn't work that way. Mom, it doesn't do this. But like I said, subconsciously, that's what has been passed down to us.
yes.
And that was some later years, doing that with my own daughter. So,
Wow.
sexually, we have a lot of things that people come on. You will be shocked, as in some couples don't even have a good sexual relationship.
Mm.
The man is frustrated. The woman is frustrated because the woman has come into the marriage with with some attitudes like women are not supposed to express, you know, their
Wow.
feelings. I
Mhm.
mean, women are not supposed to make a sound while being made love to. You
Wow.
know, why does my husband want me to do this? Those kind of little things, and I always make people realize that what happens in the bedroom stays in the bedroom.
Absolutely.
It's nobody's business what you do there.
Mhm.
But again, we need to help people get to that stage sexually. There are a lot of sexual, I mean, is a thousand and one things that goes on sexually with people, with teenagers, with especially with boys.
Really?
Yeah,
Mm.
especially with boys. thinking, no, 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 the sex, the size, my size is not big enough, all those kind of little, like I tell people, I've seen it all. And I put,
Wow, that is amazing. It's funny that you shared that story about when you started your period, because that's the same exact thing that happened to me. My mom said, "Okay, so now you have your period," and she had this calendar that she put on the wall. Every single time your period comes, I need you to mark it, so I know what day your period comes, so she could track and
yeah.
then of
Hmm.
course, and all she said was, "Okay, well, now you're a woman. If you even dare look at a boy, you will be pregnant." And that was what I knew. It's like no education. And remember, we didn't have access to computers and access to anything.
Exactly.
Whatever you were told, that was what you went with, right? And that they were law. And so it took years for me to even understand truly what even having my period meant, what it meant to me as a woman, how it meant that I was
Woman.
actually going into womanhood. I learned nothing from my mother. I learned nothing from my mother. And I
Yeah,
chose.
but you don't blame them. That's all they knew too.
They did the best they could with what they had,
Yes.
because they were told the same thing. That's exactly how they were told. Don't
Mm-hmm.
talk to a boy, and that's all they knew, right? So,
Yeah.
you're right when you say, we were taught what were taught, and a lot of us walked into our marriages with a lot of preconceived notions about a lot of,
Notion.
right, which has hurt more marriages than has helped. It has hurt more because, like you were saying, you're in the bedroom, you don't tell your husband what you want,
What exactly?
right? But then he's doing all this stuff and you are irritated because you don't like it. You don't like it. You're upset, you're frustrated, but in your mind, you're supposed to just lie there, take it, and move. How is
Exactly.
that supposed to be a marriage that at the end of the day works out well for both of you? It won't. Because even though he's maybe getting some release, he's not enjoying it because he doesn't feel you're enjoying it.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
now
Well,
you
when again, it depends on the man.
Exactly. Well, some men, but then that's also why maybe sometimes they end up turning elsewhere, right? They go elsewhere outside of the marriage because they think, well, I'm not getting what I really want here. But she doesn't know she's
Mm-hmm.
not giving him what he wants because all she knows is what she
Is
knows.
what she's doing exactly. But again, what I say as a sexologist is that at times, okay, you can't give what you don't have
Exactly.
most of the time, and you cannot give what you don't. I mean, you can't give what you don't know what to give. You understand?
There you
Some
go.
people know what to give, but they don't. There's no communication. There's
Mm,
no reading, and when there's no reading, it causes a lot of problems. Because um, we've been taught subconsciously not to express some things. I remember, I mean, I can never forget, I had an old client, and she was quite expressive. And the husband was like, where did you pick up this one from? And I'm wondering to myself, so what do you want?
mhm.
You understand? You want a good holy wife. And I mean, I've had one of the funniest cases I've ever heard. And I mean, may the person so rest in peace. I remember she was a Christian, and I mean, as in, the marriage broke. And by the time they got to me and we talked about it and everything, and it was like, and you can't just even bust out laughing about some things. And it was as simple as, oh, I'm a Christian, I can't give a blowjob.
And that's not funny
I
because
think that was I
there's
think that was one of my jobs that knocked me off my chair, because my answer would have made me lose my license. I just said, you know what, guys? Can you just go home and come back, and then we can talk about it? Because my answer then was that, you know what, you just shut up. Go give that stupid blowjob and wash your mouth with Omo when you finish.
oh,
But
I
I
can't.
couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. Because, and then I had to like talk to this person individually, that, I mean, why aren't you doing this? This is what it is, blah, blah, blah. And she goes, I thought she was going to say something very, and she says, oh no, the mouth I used to pray to God, I can't use. And I'm like, excuse you. Do you know that God is going to be angry with you because you're the cause of your break of your marriage? And I had to like go spiritual with her. That do you know that if your husband goes out to cheat, you are the cause? But she didn't understand it. She says, "Oh, why?" I said, "Okay, now you're the one making him sin. You're going to make him commit a sin because what I mean is not you're not going to leave your mouth there. And when you're done, go wash it. I mean, go brush it or whatever, or go to church and ask for forgiveness."
The marital bed is undefiled, right? Whatever you do in your marital bed is as long as it's what you both want.
Exactly, but a lot of people don't know that.
Well, that's part of the problem. Going into marriage, a lot of us were not educated. We weren't educated enough about a lot of things. And then while in marriage, we refuse to be educated still. So now it's called.
You know what I always say? I say our generation was scammed into marriage. Marriage was a scam for a lot of us.
Explain that to me. What do you mean?
It was just a scam. We're just bundled into this thing called marriage with some laws and ideas and ideologies that we didn't even understand. I mean, I got into marriage quite young, okay? And I married somebody that was quite young too. And I remember, I mean, we still joke about it. I mean, we've been together now for 35 years, but we've been married for almost 32 years.
Wow.
And I remember I mean, we used to really have a lot of fights because it was just a year between both of us. And I remember the first 2 months we got married, it was really funny. And it just came up with, I mean, this was my boyfriend and we did everything. And then he just came up with this 360-degree change. Oh no, you need to respect me. You don't talk to me. And I'm like, it's not done that way. You become the boss bit by bit. And we still joke about it. And he goes, how do you know how do you know I become the boss bit by bit? I'm like, you don't become the boss in one day. You do it in bits and pieces. I said, you cannot just boss me one day. And he goes, you just tell people, hey, come here, come on, let's set the table together. I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to say? Excuse me, sir, come and set the table or what? But like, again, it took, I mean, I would say for me, and it's very important, marry your friend.
Yes.
Marry your friend. Marry somebody that understands your joke, understands your pain, understands everything. It's like, you see, when you are in that state of, how will I put it? I mean, because it can be a little bit rocky. Yeah. It's just two different individuals coming into that thing called marriage. I mean, the men have a lot of pressures on them. They don't want to be like a wimp. They want to take charge. They want to say things. They want to do things. The woman wants to be like, you know what, you can suppress me. I have to do my own things that way. But hey, honestly, from my own experience, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
It's not going to work. Somebody needs to just calm down. I use the word kind of play the fool. It's not because you're a fool, but just for peace sake, just balance it out. And like, for me, we have a rule. If I'm angry, you don't have a right to be angry. If he's angry, I don't have a right to be angry. Even I want to be angry, but I can't.
Okay, that's a good rule. That's interesting. I never thought about that. But
yeah,
as long as you both bought into it, then at least both of you are not angry at the same time. So one of you is forced to be the sane one.
Yeah,
that's actually quite interesting. Okay, queens, you all get that. So maybe you all can have a talk with your husbands and just say, okay, you can't be angry and I'm angry, because we tend to burst out at the same time, which typically is what happens. I'm the I don't get angry. I'm not the one that bursts out quickly. I'm one that has trained my tongue, trained my emotions.
Okay.
Ever so often.
Mm-hmm.
That trigger just goes off and it's like, whoa. And I just and
like a volcano.
Like a volcano.
And you erupt and you're like, did I do that?
Every single time though that volcano erupts, I do have to go back and go, okay, what was wrong with me? As in, not what was wrong with me, what was going on with me prior to that, that
Mm-hmm.
allowed me to erupt that way. And a
Up
lot of
that
times
way,
I
yeah.
find out that I hadn't really been taking care of myself for a while. I really hadn't been checking in with myself. I really hadn't been taking time for self-care enough. So I was actually on empty.
Yeah,
And so
exactly.
that just fueled it. When you're on empty,
And
you're only fumes. So when then I add fire, it was just like boom, right? So that's one of the things that I try to tell women, though, that no matter what the state of our marriages are in, it's very
mm,
key and important for us to even know who we are first, right? I was talking to another lady, and one of the things that we found out was before we get married, it's almost like we audition for the role of wife. And then
okay.
once we're in, we're still kind of, because we, still not sure, and we're still just tiptoeing around, and we don't know who we are yet. So we're just trying to make it work, and he doesn't know who he is. And before you know what's going on, you're both two separate people. You lose yourselves in the marriage. You don't know who you are. He doesn't know who he is. And now there's this major big wedge between you that you're trying to fight through, right? Because neither one of us took the time. At least one of the things that I recognized for me was I again what we talked about at the beginning, right? We came in with our preconceived notions about what marriage was.
Exactly.
Now, when you were dating, boyfriend, girlfriend, it's a whole different ballgame. What y'all are doing as a boyfriend and girlfriend is because you, at the end of the day, pack your bags and you go home. He goes to his house, you go to your house. It's not the same as now living with this individual
Mm-hmm.
consistently 365, right? And so you start to pick up some nuances like, wait a minute, but because unlike you, you were very vocal. Some of us were not that vocal to now say, okay, this thing is not going to work. I don't like this. Stop or whatever. Rather, we internalized and kept quiet about the things. And one thing led to another, led to another, led to another. And why did we keep quiet? Because we didn't know who we were. I could speak
Well,
for
you
me.
see,
I didn't know who I was. I didn't know fully what my role as a wife was. I didn't know my purpose as a wife. So I felt, based off of the things that I had seen in the marriages that were around me, which would be AKA my parents' marriage, that we were
mm-hmm.
supposed to be and be told how to be and be told what to do and just be there for his pleasure and his pleasure only. And that's not what marriage is about.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
So by
Mm-mm. You
the time we started getting to the point where I realized that, okay, wait a minute, I'm getting the raw side of the deal here. Now they don't want you to change because it was favorable to them, but you were getting the raw side of the deal. And
mm-hmm.
that's the button of head starts to happen.
Okay, Nika, you see, for me, I always say to people, I always say when I counsel, as one of the major things a lot of women, I will tell the truth, is we live a lie
I
a
said that to
lot.
someone just yesterday. I said
Oh,
we
really?
I promise you, those are the exact words I used. I said what I found out was I had been living a lie the whole time.
Exactly.
I
We
had been
live a
living
lie.
the whole
We
time.
sweep
Yeah.
a lot of things under the carpet, and then
Mm-hmm.
it goes boom in our faces, and then you can't cope anymore. That's number one. Number two, I'm going to talk about my own self, what has worked for me. I think one of the good things that has worked for me is I look at every day, I look at my marriage as a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's a relationship, let us be honest with ourselves. When your boyfriend, girlfriend, you put your best foot forward because you're striving to be kept. You
Mm-hmm.
do not want to be, toppled. You don't want another girl to be there. So, well, when you become the wife, I'm going to be quite honest with ourselves. And maybe because I add my husband is my friend, he tells me things like, oh, no, no, you know what, you're letting yourself go, you're doing this, you're doing that, why don't you do this?
Yeah.
You understand? And I, vice versa, I can always say to him the same thing, you understand? I
Mm-hmm.
remember when he started having a little bit of a pot, and I used to say to him, look, all your mates are getting 6 packs. You are having a tummy pack. I don't know what's going on here. you know, but we're able to laugh about it and say, okay, you know what, this is the way to go about it. And when I was beginning to put on so much weight, he could understand that, look, Lola, don't put pressure on yourself. You've had a child. This is what it is, and he can walk through it. But a lot of women, we live a lie. When I say we live a lie, we don't express what we feel. And my husband always said something to me, and I think it's true. Nobody can get into your head and know what you're feeling.
Yeah.
You need to express it.
Yeah.
You need to talk about it.
Absolutely.
You understand? And let me let you into something. I remember the first when we used to have a little bit of a sexual or ipsy, and I used to be so shy to talk about it. So I would write it down. I would go stay in another room, and I would tell him to sit behind the door so he doesn't see my face when I'm talking about it. Because I used to be I mean, you were brought up to be like shy about it and everything. And then my husband will be like, but if we don't talk about it, and which was the truth, how am I going to sort it out? How am I going to help you? How am I going to make you happy? Are we just going to keep on trying and failing and trying and failing? So we need to talk about this.
That's right.
So I'll be like, okay. So it took me a while. Then I became vocal enough to say, and this is what I don't like, this and this and this is what I like. And he was able to say the same to us. And you get to that maturity where you can do that. And I think a lot of women need to realize that, you know what, there's no magic wand about this thing. If you don't talk about it, honestly, most guys don't know. And that's just
true.
the truth. You need to tell them. Yeah. Some men, you need to understand what the communication technique is. Some men don't like being told directly because then it makes them feel less of a man.
That's right.
Understand? Yeah. So you have to look at, okay, when can I slot this in? When can I slot this in a very like in a joke manner? Is it when we're joking? Is it when we're having a serious talk? That's when you slot in sexual things. You have to know, and each person differs.
That's right.
Each person differs. I mean, I remember one of my clients that cheated, and we talked about it, and he actually says, he did regret it, but it was just the way the wife went about it that made him go out there, because she says, most of the time you're not man enough for me. That was deep. But that's not what she meant. But that's what came out. And what he processed at that point in time, he felt his ego deflated.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
You understand? But that's not what she meant. What she basically meant was that, oh no, you know what? You're not satisfying me sexually.
Even that will deflate your ego. Either way, a man's ego for sure. But it's important. What I'm hearing you say, though, is important to find a way to have those conversations in such a way that it's not threatening.
Exactly.
And even if what you do say comes across the wrong way, you're able to right there and then fix it and say,
explain
no. Explain.
Thank
yeah,
you.
like this is what I meant. Those type of conversations are not the ones you have in the heat of the moment when you're angry, because it's
no. It's not going to go. It's not. It has never. I've never seen it go good. I've never seen it go good.
Exactly. So those are the type of conversations, when they talk about pillow talks, when those are the conversations create the space for. But why are we as women? Why? And I know the answer, but I want to hear your answer. Why then do we find it difficult to begin to create that space so that we can have those type of conversations with our husbands? What are your thoughts about that?
Well, my thought about that is a twofold question. Okay, and I'm going to be honest with you.
Uh-huh.
One, it is an individual thing.
Yeah.
Honestly, it depends on the kind of relationship you have.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on how you started your relationship.
That's right.
If you started your relationship in a situation where boyfriend, girlfriend, even though you were not okay, you just never talked about it. It was just the bang, bang, boom, boom, and everybody was okay. But and then I've seen situations where the boy wants to go with the girl and the girl is like pulling back, and she's like, well, because maybe she's hurt down there, he's not doing, there's so many reasons. But because of the are we shy? Let me use the word shy.
Okay.
Let me use the word. Some people are shy to let them know that, look, I'm hurting down there. You're not doing it well. I saw someone say to me, um, my husband thinks he's a little bit too big for me. And I'm like, no, he's not. It has nothing to do with size.
Mm-hmm.
It's because he's not going in the right way. And she was like, oh, but she never knew. She thought the blame was with her, that she was inexperienced.
Mm.
And she didn't want to look inexperienced. And I'm like, no, it has nothing to do with you being inexperienced. It has to be with both of you. I mean, let me cut you short with something. I remember my son when he became a teenager,
Mm-hmm.
and he would wake up with the add-on, and he would come to me and say, and I said, okay, you know what? You guys need to sit down and have a little meeting. You and your Winky, you both have to understand when both of you need to wake up and wake up at the same time. You can't wake up before him and he can't wake up before you. So don't embarrass me. Both of you have, you understand. So women don't understand that you need to lead a man to what you want.
Yeah. Yeah.
You understand? You need to
Understood.
lead a man to what, I mean, a man believe they know, but sometimes, and no two women are the same.
And that's the thing. What you just said, I've always said, look, this is not a one size fits all kind of situation. You can't
Nah.
deal with me like you dealt with whomever. That's not going to work.
Nah.
I'm my unique person. I have my own spots. I know what I like. But what about the woman that doesn't even know what she wants? She doesn't know. She doesn't know. Where do we go
A
with that?
lot of women don't. A lot of women don't. Okay, a lot of women now know, but in our own era and the ones before us don't even know what they want,
That's right.
and that's just the truth. And like I
Mm-hmm.
said, just because of the way we've been brought up.
Mm-hmm.
Are we changing the narratives? Yeah.
Yeah. Our
Is
children
it
are
being?
more vocal for sure.
No, some of us are even changing the narratives. Is it being frowned upon? Honestly, yes, by some men. They think, oh no, oh who are you talking to? What are you doing? What are you? But they
So,
don't understand that you're understanding your body better.
mm-hmm.
You're having a better understanding of your body.
Right.
You're beginning to know, okay, I need to be touched this way, felt this way for me to respond to you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm not just a log of wood that you turn at every point in time you want the heat to go up
Right.
or you want the heat to go down. You don't turn me that way.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
understand? It's like I always say to someone, is both hands need to watch it or that for us to become a little bit cleaner.
Yeah. No,
So you
it's
need to
key.
turn me the right way to give you the right fire.
Absolutely. And again, it all boils down to that, some women not knowing
Communication.
what they want, right? Not knowing what they want is the beginning. So at least admitting, I don't even know. I really don't know. Then, so from there, you start to, okay, whatever the little that he does, those few things that he does that maybe you do like, start to mentally, okay, I like when he does this. I like when he does this. This other thing, I don't like it. And start to have a catalog of those things. And then set the mode where you can now say, babe,
Okay, this is what it
we,
exactly.
we, we need
What
to have a discussion because there's certain things that are lacking and I want to satisfy you. I also want to be satisfied. Let's have this talk. Now, the very first time, like you said, it will probably be very,
but do you know a lot of women don't realize they need to be satisfied.
And that's another thing. That's another situation where some women just feel that the only reason for having sex is to have
It's for
children.
babies. Yes.
And what happened
And
was, what
and to
happened
satisfy the man.
to satisfy the man. And what happened in a lot of situations that I know of is during the format when they first got married, she was actually gung ho about having sex because in her mind, I just need to get pregnant. So she was all about it. But the moment all of the kids came and was done, she checked out. She checked out of that
That
sexual relationship thing because she's done her part,
is
right? I've had
done.
children.
Exactly.
So now what do you want? But now he wants it more because as we grow older, it becomes something that we and she can't understand it. So there are a lot of women in sexless marriages or marriages that the sex is just not fun for them anymore. And rather than talk about it, they're just kind of accepting it. And then there's even the older we get, here comes menopause. So now the whole dynamics completely has changed altogether,
Change. Yeah.
right? And he doesn't know. He has no idea. You're still learning that, okay, my body is changing. So again, what we're saying here, Queens, is that it's very important that you have the discussions, right? But to have the discussion, you have to start with self. Have a real sit down discussion with you as the individual. What do you want? What makes me happy? And first and foremost, trying to think that he is going to make you happy. You've missed the mark right there.
No.
Because he's
Exactly.
that's not his pay grade, that's not his job. So the happy has to come from within, with
From
you.
you, from within.
Yes, right? So if you're not happy, then sex is absolutely not going to make you happy at all. Point blank,
Wow. At all.
right? So that's the key. Many marriages can be fixed simply by that one thing. First learning who you are and whose you are. And then secondly, embracing your partner and having the discussion with him about things that you like. And stop assuming he knows. He should know. I hear it all the time. Well, he should know. How should he know?
Exactly. Yeah. How should he know it's not you?
Is right?
Yeah, and he doesn't have a magic wand to know what is in your head.
Exactly. It's just like the Bible says, right? That hearing faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. How do you get the faith? You have to read the word. Faith just doesn't come. You have to read the word to get the faith that you're looking for. When it also talks about the people, like how will they know if they're not taught, and how will they be taught if you don't know? So there's a lot to understanding that we have a role to play in this as well. We can no longer say, well, he did, and so therefore I'm just laying back. We have some things to do as well. We have some things to correct as well. The way we speak, we have to learn the art of communication. It is one of the, if not the most important, one of the most important things in a marriage that keeps a marriage together. And
And
once
apart
that
from even communication, apart from communication, Nike, you see, one of the things I tell people is, when you look back, when you look at the story of Cleopatra, they say she was the sexiest woman on earth. Why? Because she had the power of seduction. The power of seduction is not something that was given to her. It was something that, women should learn to know how to adore their husbands, know what brings out the best in them. Because look, it's just like you wanting to eat something. When you butter your bread very well, it becomes a little bit tastier. So if you don't tell this person that, look, like I said to somebody, like you rightly said, when we get married, we let go. You want to go for a sexual thing. You're dressed in in one of those mushroom night dresses that even I, as a lady, will get turned off. You understand? I'm telling you, I get turned. And then you're wondering, is it a bam bam boom boom, let's get it over and done with issue you want? You understand? And then another thing I tell women especially is, You need to take care of yourself, of your
Absolutely.
mind, of your mind, your body, and your soul. You need to
Yes.
take care of those three things.
Yes.
They come hand in hand. If your mind is not in a stable situation, then so your body is going to react to that definitely. You understand? You need to have a sound mind. You have to have a mindset of believing in yourself, knowing that, look, I'm taking care of myself for myself.
Yes.
You understand?
Mm.
I'm taking care of myself for myself. I want to look good for myself. When I look good, I feel good. I feel happy. It's what it is. I'm not losing weight because my husband wants me to lose weight. I'm losing weight because it's good for me. It gives me a
Absolutely.
good self-esteem.
There we go. And that's the
I feel
key.
better. Yeah, I feel better when I do this. I
Yeah.
feel better when I take care of my body. I feel better when I take care of my hygiene. I feel better. Not like you rightly said, we just let go, we get into the marriage, then it's a marriage, and we sit there, then you decide to become his mom. No, he didn't want to get married to his mom. He knows where she is.
Hmm. Yeah.
No,
That's very key. I'm the queen of self care. I'm the queen of it. I will tell you in a heartbeat that you have self has to come first. Like you said,
yeah.
you can't give what you don't have. So
No, you can't.
if you're depleted, there's nothing you can give. He can make all sorts of romantic actions towards you. You won't see it. You won't feel it because
Exactly.
cannot receive because you're empty. You have nothing to give, and your mind is not there. Your body is all over the place, and everything's just not in alignment. And so the very first step, really, to making any changes, no matter what the stage of your marriage is, no matter what is going on, how dreadful it might seem like it is, or how good it might seem like it is, there are always changes we can make. And the first is with self, with self, with self, with self. I say this all the time. Go get
Yeah.
a hairdo, maybe. Go figure out what you like. When my clients come to me and I ask them, well, what do you like? Do you know
Exactly.
it takes them forever to answer that question because they don't know. But when I ask, okay, what does your husband like? She can rattle off the whole, oh yeah, da, 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 da. What do your children like? Oh, my children, da, 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 da. But then what do you like? Oh, I don't know, because we left ourselves at the door walking into the marriage and we forgot to go pick ourselves back up again. Like, no, 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 no.
Exactly.
And then you wonder why there's resentment in the marriage because you feel that you'll keep giving and keep giving and keep giving. Well, he didn't ask you to keep giving, to be honest. It
Mm-hmm.
was what
Mm-hmm.
you to do. So now the resentment that you have towards him really should be turned towards you because that is how
And the one that let yourself go.
you let
You didn't
yourself.
give, yeah, you didn't give yourself a me time. Like, I mean, once a week, my husband knows, I always say I need, even when the kids were young, my kids used to say till today that, Mom, that was so mean of you. I used to take time out. I used to tell them, don't call me. Don't look at me. Don't even look at me. Don't even breathe beside me. Just let me be. Let me be Lola for just the whole day.
Yeah.
And they know, when they got older, I would just give them 10 rands to buy the day. And it was just an understanding. And my husband got used to that. Like, I just want to be me. I don't want to be called. I don't want to be looked at. Just let me breathe.
Yeah.
And sometimes I just sit in my study. I put my legs up. I have a good laugh. Sometimes I just want to go to the mall. I just want to walk around. I just want to be with myself. I want
Yeah.
to ask myself questions. I want to be able to answer those questions. I want to ask myself, okay, Lola, you did this, 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 this. Why did you do this, 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 this? Okay, if there's another scenario, would you do it that way? I want to sit, I want to cry, I want to be able to just even make fun of myself that, oh, shit, Lola, look at yourself. You even, abokoku, why did you, I just want to, and then I come home and I'm refreshed
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I'm refreshed and I'm happier. But at times, women don't realize they need that time. They need that me time.
It's
They need
important.
that time to just deflate and ask yourself questions like, okay, what am I doing wrong?
Mm.
What is it I should change?
What can I do
Why
better?
am I doing the same thing in different ways and getting the same answer? Because
Right.
I'm doing the same thing, but I'm doing it in different ways, but
Right.
it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
understand? And one of those things I will tell you is one of the story I always say to people. I relocated as an adult and I left everything. I'm telling you, Nikki, I left everything I knew back in Nigeria, as in a job, friends, everything I heard. And I remember leaving Nigeria to go to South Africa because my kids were going to school, and I had kids quite late. I had my first child after almost 7 years of marriage.
Okay.
So I felt my life was my children. Okay, fast forward, when I was going to leave, I have a very it's odd, very odd. I've never been a woman that has ever been intimidated by another woman
Mm-hmm.
in my marriage. Like I said to people, it's funny. Myself and my husband fight, but we have never fought about what somebody said. We have enough problems to fight about than what somebody said. So a third party does not count. It's so sad. A third party doesn't count.
Yeah.
Oh no, no, we have our own issues to deal with. So a third party issues is actually on the burner. You understand? So, anyways, when I relocated, I will tell you, Nika, it was tough. It was I say to people, it was one of the darkest parts of my life
Okay.
because I was, when you say I was genuinely sad, I was sad up to the extent that my immune system collapsed.
What made you sad?
Now, let me put it this way. People differ. I would say I'm just a very different kind of person. I am not moved by material things. I've
Mm-hmm.
never been. I always say to people that I think my sister prayed too hard for a sister. I was going to be a boy gently in my world, but my sister wanted a girl. So I think God just said, okay, we just take this one. It was going to be a boy, but like, we've converted that to a girl.
Mm.
You understand?
Yeah.
Whatever. But I think the sadness came from the fact that I moved to South Africa, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I moved to a place called Pietermaritzburg, which is the heart of Zululand. The first language is Zulu.
Okay.
I couldn't speak Zulu.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like taken from the hub of everything in Nigeria, VGC, my friends, everything, and thrown into South Africa. But
Were
I
you
would say to
there by
people,
yourself or did you go with your husband?
I went with the kids and they were in boarding school.
So you left your husband in Nigeria.
My husband was no, it was shuttling. It was shuttling, and it was coming and going every 3 months. But
Mm-hmm.
it was really, how will I put it? It was very devastating for me because guess what?
Mm-hmm.
I tied my happiness to where
Mm.
I was coming from. Yeah, and that's the reality of it. I
Mm.
tied my happiness to where I was coming from. It took me 2 years to break off it. And I had to say to myself, one particular year when I was coming back, because I used to cry a lot coming back to South Africa. I mean, I would burst into tears at the airport. I mean, as in tears. I don't want to go back. I don't want to. I mean, you would think they're stealing me, you know? And this particular year, I just said to myself, I said, no, Lola, home is where the heart is.
Mm.
This place is no more my house, it's my home. I'm going to make it, I'm going to make the best of it.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
was my turning point.
Mm-hmm.
I just said to myself on the airport, I mean, in the seats, in the plane, that Lola, I'm going to make the best of this. I'm going to make myself happy.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
guess what? I
No.
got I got back. I realized I could paint.
See, that's what I'm trying to say. Once we take the time to stop and figure out who we are, all of these other gifts and talents and everything that God has placed in us starts to
It
become
flies out.
it. Like, oh my goodness.
Nike, I could paint. I realized I could. I mean, the first time I went to a painting class, I was like, did I just do that? I
Mm,
realized I could paint. I realized I've never been a TV person. I've never liked TV. But I realized I love to sit by the waterfall and just listen to the sound of water. And from there, I was able to, kind of do a lot of, right? That's where my creation started coming from.
mhm.
I discovered myself. I actually discovered myself.
So, great point. So, you discover in the process of discovering yourself, what did that do to your marriage?
Honestly, I think it made my marriage better. In
Absolutely.
the first 2 years, I would say it was a little bit, quite honest. I mean, we're recording. It was because of and that's what affects a lot of us.
Hmm.
The external noise at times can be a little bit daunting with us. You know how it is in Nigeria. Oh, you're leaving your husband in Nigeria. Oh, those girls, I think they were going to steal him. I think it was the handbag, and they would just snatch.
Hmm.
Even my own mom would tell me, oh no, you can't just relocate and leave your husband. So, I lived in that constant fear
Mm. Hmm.
of when he calls me, I would keep quiet to listen to the background noise.
Yeah, you were looking for something. Yeah, you
I
were
was
looking.
looking for I was looking for
It
what
wasn't
wasn't
there.
missing.
It wasn't missing and it wasn't there. Yeah, yeah.
That was it.
Mm. Yeah.
Then until I stopped doing that, and every time my husband would come down, I would tell you, it was like boyfriend, girlfriend. I would always be so excited. I would move the furniture around. I would want him to see something new. I would have had list of things. So it was like, we just stopped fighting. I even used to remind him that, hey, Bobs, we've not fought. Oh, what's going on?
Don't
Because,
be those ones that say, "Oh, we haven't fought. Okay, let's find something to fight about."
yeah, yeah, because you see, there was just so much to do. I would
Mhm.
look for, like, oh, let's go watch a movie. Let's do this. I started bringing out the positive things
Yeah.
because I realized I was living on it's like on borrowed
On
time.
borrowed time.
So I wanted to do a lot while he was around, and it just made it better. And what am I trying to tell people? I don't believe in, oh, because you live separately from your husband, it's going to break the relationship. It actually can make it better. I'm a living example of living away from my husband, and my relationship got much better.
Yeah. But in addition to that, let's even say you're not living apart. And while you were living together, is during that time that you took the time to find out who you were. That would have
Hmm.
still been the same result as you are
Yeah,
understanding who you are and presenting the new you. All of a sudden, he starts to see, oh my goodness, okay, and that brings a closeness. That brings, a more unity between the two of you, which is, my story as well. The more I learned about me and what I like to do, and the fact that I like to be, the more, because he can't, you are no longer predictable.
exactly.
You're no longer predictable, so he never knows
Predictable.
what to expect. That kept the expectations up, and you became more sexy to him. Now it's like, oh,
Exactly.
there's this aura of secrecy, like, I wonder what, right? Because he just
Like
didn't
my husband would say that I became an onion. That for every time he peeled, there was something else.
know,
And I, like you rightly said, a lot of ladies are predictable.
and that's
You
why
need to make yourself a mystery. You need to, like,
the
you know, there's
mystery.
something new every day.
Yes,
I'm okay. And men are babies, let us be honest. They look forward to such things.
yes,
You understand? And then another thing a lot of women do, and I think is uh, 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 um one of the aspects that kills a lot of marriages, counting tabs. Oh,
Mm,
I did this. It's
mm.
your turn to do this. I mean, I live in a marriage where there is no sex of you're a man, you have to do this, you're a woman, you have to do this. Each person does where the strength is, and we just move on. You understand?
And that is
One
very
thing I
beautiful because do you know that in the beginning, when God created the man and the woman, He did not create roles. He
thank you.
never said to Eve, okay, so you make sure that you wash the dishes, clean the clothes. Never
Mhm.
did. Never did.
Never
You
did.
you have your feminine energy, your feminine traits, and he has his masculine traits. Whatever that looks like, that you need to now bring together, which is why I tell people all the time, do not compare your marriage. Stop
Never do.
comparing your marriage because
Never do.
what they do are it's unique to
It
them.
works for them. It might
Works
not work
for
for
you,
you.
it may not. So just because you're someone, you might be a female that does not, just because you were taught to cook doesn't mean you like to cook.
That is it.
So you may come into a marriage and I do not like cooking. And he's like, oh, well, I love cooking. Let him
And
cook.
let him do it. Exactly.
Enjoy it. But be helpful maybe by being the one that washes the dishes. It doesn't matter. Make it work for you.
And again, women should learn. I mean, I learned that a long time ago. I think women should learn to say, I mean, to be able to ask for what
Ask
they want.
what they want. Well,
For
that
me,
goes back to
I
what we
always say,
talked about.
no,
Yeah.
I say to my husband once in a while, I'll be like, I want to be treated like a queen today. And he'll be like, really? I'm like, yeah, just dot all over me. Do things for me.
Yeah.
Order me something. It'll be like, even if it's a chicken wing, I'm like, even if it's a chicken
Whatever.
feather, just, surprise me. And Nikki, I will be honest with you, is something that has kept my marriage going for so long because, look, I'm in Nigeria right now. Am I looking forward to going back home in 2 weeks' time? Definitely, yes, because there's something waiting for me. Is my husband looking forward to me coming back? Yes, because he will say something like, oh, are you going to give me a surprise? I'm like, yeah, like what? Even if it's just a bottle of granules, even if it's this, but you see, we've learned to be able to communicate.
That's the key.
If you want to be treated like a queen,
Tell them.
tell him if he doesn't know.
Yeah.
But some people will say things like, oh no, he ought to know.
He should
If,
know. And
if,
that's
if,
the one that I
if
don't
he
like.
knows, he will do it.
Do it. Yes.
But he doesn't know. So tell him.
And if he's done it before and you never showed him that you appreciated it, he's not going to do it again. So
Never.
you need to let him know that, oh my goodness, you did that. I am
So
so one of the things that used to happen is when I would want to go out with my friends, and he would stay home. But when the children were younger, I want to go out or do whatever, and I go. When I come back, I always made sure that when I came back, he had something to look forward to. I gave him something to say, okay, that was worth it.
okay, yeah.
The next time I say I'm going out, he'll be like, go, 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 go. Oh, he knows that when I come back, he has something to look forward to. Likewise, when I wanted him to do something like you were rightly saying, you just simply make it known. You know what? I want.
Yeah,
And they want to fuss over you. I promise you they do. But they
of
just
course.
don't know what it is you want. So they don't know how. And if you give them the sense and the feeling that you got it all under control, guess what? They are going to hands off and say, well, she got it under control. She doesn't need anything from me. I'm going to let her do her thing. The only thing I need from her is in the bedroom, which is why he will deal with you in the bedroom like she got it under control. Snap, 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 boom, 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 done. Let's go.
Exactly.
What you
And
have,
then you stay frustrated.
and you stay
And
frustrated.
you say, they will want the line I like he ought to know.
No, I don't like that
He
at all.
doesn't know.
He does not know. I promise you, he doesn't. He is not thinking about anything that you think he's thinking about. He is not.
Mhm,
Men are wired
mhm.
to think one way, and all he's thinking about is how can I provide for my family? How can I make sure my family has what they need? That shut him down, and that's all he's thinking about.
Yeah.
So and when he's even thinking about the fact that maybe tonight he wants some sex, he's not thinking about what can I do to. He just knows, okay,
No,
tonight I want
no,
sex.
no, no. He knows what exactly.
So you need to let him know, hey, to get me in the mood, it would really be amazing if you could start the process early in the day. This is what I like. I like you to show me surprises through the day, because that is something that helps me get in the mood as well. You think he won't,
Exactly.
knowing that it's going to mean more enjoyable sex to him? Of course he's going to want to do it. And if he doesn't know what to do, tell him what those things are. Do not be shy to teach him and coach him. Okay, one thing you can do for me is get me some roses. And when you buy me the roses, put them here. And teach him. Just like we're teaching teach him. It does not matter. But you teach him once, I promise you he got it. Once you've taught him once, he knows exactly what to do the next time. And you just have to keep building on that and building on that and building on that. I think we lost our guest. Oh my goodness, Lola, can you still hear me? Oh my God, what a fantastic, amazing discussion this has been up until this point. Wow, I think we may have lost her. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, Queens. Well, while we're waiting in case she can come back, I hope you heard what Lola said today. It's important that you communicate. He does not know what it is you're missing. He doesn't know what you need. Communicate, communicate, communicate. But at the same time, you have to know what it is you want to communicate. And to be able to do that, you have to learn and know who you are and figure out what your likes are, what your dislikes are, and then find a way to be able to communicate that in a way he can understand and receive. Because you can't also blow his ego by just trying to be, well, you should know this and that. No, these are opportunities to have amazing discussions which would actually draw you closer as opposed to further apart. All right. So learning these things are important. And then the third thing is take care of you. So now that you understand what you like, do those things, because it's your responsibility to make you happy. It's not his responsibility. So no matter what stage or what circumstances may be going on in your marriage, you can still be happy and thrive through it. I'm going to leave Lola's information in the show notes, so that if you want to reach out to her for anything, you absolutely can. We could have been here for hours, but unfortunately she got dropped off. But I think she dropped enough nuggets for us to be able to work through some things if needed. All right. So Queen, thank you for being here. Know this, that it takes two to make a marriage work, but it starts with one, and that one is you. I see you. I hear you. I believe in you. Until the next time, Queen. Talk to you soon. Bye.